Good morning, Dara. Oh, you're muted. Hi, Suzette. Hi, Casey.
Hello.
Did you get your pattern, Suzette?
I did.
Did you print it yourself?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Looks like it's okay. I just did it this morning, so I'm still like looking through it.
Are you? Okay, we're gonna go slow, so don't panic.
I'm already panicking.
Me too, a little, but we have experts amongst us, so we're gonna be okay. Right, Casey? Oh, you gotta unmute.
Sure, I'll share whatever I know.
Okay, thank you. Casey is traveling in an RV, Suzette.
Ah,
Good morning,
how
Elaine.
exciting.
Yeah, we're actually building a house out here in Arizona, so we're living in the RV until it gets built.
Oh,
So
nice.
we came across country in the RV, and then we parked it here about a half an hour from where we're going to build, and trying to get the house built.
Very nice.
Fun. Are you all building it yourselves, or are you having someone build it?
We're having someone build it, yeah.
Fun. We'll wait just a few minutes to see if anyone else wants to jump on. I think we had a total of 18 people registered, so before we get started, and I hope Cheryl's gonna make it. We need Kim. Who else for our experts out there? Do you sew garments, Dara?
Yeah, I do. I sew a lot of garments.
Am I saying your name correctly?
Close enough.
Oh, well, you can correct me so I can learn.
I pronounce it Dara.
Dara, I got it. My husband's name's Darren, so I can remember that. Nice to meet you, and I'm so happy you have some experience. Suzette and I have none with garments. But we're very excited to learn. Did you pick out your fabric, Suzette?
Not yet, no.
And then, Dara, are you going to sew alongside of us as well? Are you making the Lisa dress?
I am doing, I bought the pattern, I've already traced it out and done my adjustments to it and cut it out.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
But I've done so long, like live sewing with people is not so easy for me. It's easier to focus on what you're doing and then follow up on my own and do those things than it is to do it while we're talking.
And that's what I'm thinking we should probably do with this process is meet, go over the next steps, make sure no one's getting left behind, and then work on our own. But what I will do is record the work that I do offline and then share it, so that anyone who wants to pick up in the middle or joins us later could still benefit from the sewing process. And then I'll have a nice record of any mistakes I make so you all can tell me where I went wrong. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. So what I was thinking is that this would be a learning opportunity and a teaching opportunity. So I'm kind of switching roles from where I typically teach to learning from you all that have more experience with the garments. And then I encourage all of you who, to speak up. If you think, oh, that's not the way to do it, please share, because I think we all do want to learn. And many of you I know have been sewing for many, many years, and you have lots of experience. So we're grateful to have you here. I also want to invite anyone who's going to watch this playback to join us, even if they're not sewing, and you're also welcome to sew any pattern that you like and then pop in and share the progress with the group. This was just the first pattern that we selected as a group, and we did kind of a community poll for it. So undoubtedly we're not going to fit everybody or please every person, but I'm excited for it. So Suzette's going to make it for sure. I'm going to make it for sure. And you're going to make it for sure, Dara. And Elaine, are you still
Yes.
in maybe? You're going to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. And then we have Casey's expertise for the moment until the other experts get online. So I thought I would share the fabric that I got with you all first and get your inputs on that. And then Dara, if you have your fabric handy too, we'd love to see that, what you selected as well. Wait for her to come back so she can see. Want to go first?
I'm using like the thinnest denim that you can find.
Gorgeous.
I believe I purchased this maybe at Joann's or at Walmart. You would never make a pair of jeans out of it. I'm not even sure why they call it denim, but it's appropriate for summer dress.
That's going to be so cute. Oh, if I make a third one, it will be out of denim. Suzette, what do you think of that? Oh, it'd be too hot for you in Florida though, wouldn't it? Even if it's
I
thin.
have thought about looking at the denim when I go.
And you can even wear it in the fall when your temperatures drop a little.
When I'm in North Carolina where it's, 99 degrees today or something crazy like that, and this weight is fine for this area.
Okay, so here's my linen blend. And so you can see, even though they called it red, it's not red, but it is thick like denim. I can see through it though. I don't know if you all can see through it, but it feels like, much thicker. So I feel like this could be a better fall dress than a summer dress. But I don't know if it's going to be itchy either. So that's one of the options, but I like the weight of it. Like, I think it would, lay nice, but this I really love.
Oh, there's Kim.
Hi.
Good morning. Okay, so this is the cotton lawn,
I like that.
and
Mhm.
you can see through it, but it's such a, busy pattern that maybe you won't be able to see through it. So I think this one will be easier to sew with, and I should save this for my second one. What do you think?
I would have gone with the cotton lawn just because you're very much enamored with it. And so it's, that you'll have the persistence because you're like, oh, I love it so much. I want to make it happen. So that would just be my thought.
The
Okay.
cotton lawn is going to be easier to put your invisible zipper in.
Oh, that's good. Okay, then I will go with this one, which I like. And plus I'll be able to wear it right away.
There you go.
I won't have to wait. Okay, in regards to prepping the fabric, machine wash it all?
Yes.
Okay.
Prepare it like you would wear it. Like when you're going to wash it, however you're going to wash or take care of it, that's what you want to do. And some fabrics like the denim, I would wash twice, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
it doesn't always, all the shrinkage doesn't happen in the first time. And so I've been disappointed where I wash something and I make it, and then the next time I wash it, it's an inch shorter, and I'm like, I made it the right way. So yeah, wash at least twice because it'll shrink up. It
Yeah.
always shrinks, the lengthwise versus, it doesn't shrink as much side to side, but it definitely shrinks.
Yeah.
It will continue to shrink.
And if you're going to put it in the dryer, do it when you do the washing, because that's when the shrinkage really kind of takes hold.
Yeah.
All right, so I will wash and dry twice.
And do it on cool.
Yep, do it on cool.
On cool. Cool.
I find that depends on your fabric. I make a lot of jeans, and I wash my denim on hot and dry it on high, and then wash it on hot and dry it on high. And then when I make stuff, it shrinks a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Good
Okay.
idea.
Okay, so,
You're putting it through its worst possibility of heat, so that once you make it, even so from then on, you wash it and cool, and you dry it on a knit cycle. You're good. That makes sense.
okay, all right, and I did get extra. I ordered 4 yards of each, so I should still have more than enough.
Oh, yeah.
You can make a maxi.
Well, I might have to recut some pieces.
Lots of accessories.
Well, that's always an option too. Okay, so we know what to do with the fabric. And then we did get to visit a little bit about sizing on one of our other chats, but I think it would be worth it to talk about it here for the folks that are going to watch the replay and work on their own. So what I had noticed when I took all of my measurements, that if I were going to fit in it, I would have to cut a 14, which seems very big for me. And then we talked about getting the ruler, which is on its way to me. I'm sure some of you already have the, is it called a French curve,
It's
Elaine?
really, yeah, French curve.
Yes, so mine's on the way. So does anyone want to speak on sizing and how you use that ruler for the folks that are going to join in a little later?
So one of the things that I've learned is that the hardest area to fit is your bust in terms of manipulating, makes the dart bigger, smaller, all that kind of stuff. So I tend to fit things to my bust, so that would be the top part. And you have the option, because there's a waist space there, that you can then make the skirt, bigger if you're bigger on the bottom or whatever. But I tend to cut or, trace out what fits my bust, and then make the adjustments, because the hip adjustment is a whole lot easier to do than a bust adjustment.
Mhm.
Oh, great tip. Okay. Anything to add to that, Kim or Sarah?
No.
My
On the sleeves, if you notice, they're really cut more into, like, so I'm gonna put them out. I'm gonna extend it so it covers the whole shoulder, because it's only a strip that they have. You see what I mean?
And I can try and screen share. I will, when we switch to the pattern instructions, I'll screen share, and then we can get a good look at those sleeves too, Elaine.
Yesterday on the news, there was a government official, and she had a sleeveless dress on, and she was shaped nice. She had side boobs.
Oh,
Does anybody know what that is? I mean, she
Yeah.
had the sleeveless dress. She looked good here, and then she had side boobs on top of it.
Well, we want to avoid that with our
You
dress.
don't want side boobs. No,
No.
I don't.
No, we need everything nice and tidy.
I just wanted to share one thing about the sizing. You said that a 14 seemed like it would be a large size. Sewing patterns are completely different from ready-to-wear clothes at the store. So a lot of the sewing companies are using older sizing. It has been vanity size, but nothing like the store has.
Right.
So I also measured myself, and I cut the 14.
Oh, you did? Okay.
If I went shopping at Kohl's, I would probably wear a small and everything.
Okay.
So
Oh.
on sewing patterns, try not to even look at the size. It's not you. It's them. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you. Because I would probably buy a medium if I were shopping at Kohl's, and it wouldn't be tight on me. It would just be comfortable. So I'll go then with the 14, and I'd much rather have it too big than too small.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and it's much easier to make as a new garment sewer, it's much easier to make adjustments, making something smaller, taking it in a little bit here and there,
Okay.
rather than try and go the other way. That's, once you've cut it, you're done.
so
Andrea,
that's
have you ever made any clothes?
Have I?
Yeah.
Just a tunic.
Okay.
I did
So-
wear it.
one of the things that also, if you cut it out of that pattern-y stuff that we talked about yesterday, then you can pin it onto yourself, and you can see ahead of time whether it's too small. So you haven't cut your real fabric yet.
They
And
did
that'll be
not
important.
have, they did not have the pattern-ys, Casey, at Joanne, so I just got the muslin. Will that work?
Yeah,
Or,
you can do that too. Yep.
Okay, because I did feel like I could see through it enough, and then I got, would you all use this pencil to trace it or something else?
I've used ballpoint pen in terms of, because it's a pattern
It won't
and
matter.
it won't matter.
Okay.
It's going to be in the seam anyhow. So yeah,
Okay.
I use like a roller pen just because it glides easier. A pencil kind of hangs up on the fibers.
Mhm.
That's all.
And I'll test it real quick and see if I feel it marks on here good or not. So do you have a plan for yours, Suzette? Or you just printed yours, so you're going to use your actual one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll have to switch to a pen. That doesn't, it's
Yeah,
going to take me forever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I did also buy new needles.
Ah,
That's good.
Good.
Okay, so we know how to get the fabric prep. Suzette, do you have any questions about your sizing? Are you good with the size that you chose for yourself? Do you want
I was just reading up on the sizing, but the information that was just shared will help.
yeah, yeah.
And what kind of needle are you using? What size?
Well, that's what I was going to ask the experts in our midst here. So normally when I sew bags, I like to work with the 90-14. But I'm thinking that's way too much for this.
Right.
oh, yeah, you'll have holes.
So what do you recommend for the lawn?
I would use a 70-10 if you have it.
Right.
I do.
Mhm.
Okay.
If you don't want to make giant holes in it, it will heal, but it'll just look nicer if you don't ever make giant holes in it. So
Mhm.
And how about the thread? Is a cotton thread going to be okay, or so should I
It'll be
choose?
fine.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
cotton poly blends, both would be fine.
Yeah. if you're when you're working with a lightweight fabric, it helps if you have a lighter weight thread. I use Maxi-Lock and Sure-Lock. I use serger threads in my regular sewing all the time. They're
Really?
an appropriate weight for lawn, or you can even, like, if you go heavy as like quilting cotton, you can still use serger. And it's
I've never
cheap.
used that.
Oh,
Yeah, and
I've
I
never
have
done
lots of that. I also have a serger, Dora. So do you think I should just use the serger to sew it?
mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So
So you
No.
I use
figure out what
serger
you're
to
doing.
just finish the edges.
Finishes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so after it's sewn, then
Right.
cutting.
Mhm.
So I would after you've cut it out, I would pin fit it to me to make sure that it, in the regular fat, pin fit it to me, make sure that it's pretty good, baste it, and then, do any adjustments and then do a final sew if you want it to fit nicely. But
Yeah. Agree. Mhm.
Now, be honest, Suzette, how many of these steps would you have skipped? Me, I would have already been serging, ladies.
I might not have even printed the pattern.
Okay. All right. So shall we dive into the instructions as given by the designer and start going over that until we get to our next step in this? Or would you all review all of the instructions first?
Definitely read the whole thing before you start any project.
it's like a recipe. You want to make sure you have everything and you understand the whole process before you start. Otherwise, you're halfway through and you got to go to the grocery store.
Okay, well, let me see if I can share my screen here and then we'll take a look at the whole thing as a group. Let's see, share screen. And then we can look at the sleeves. Let's start by looking at the sleeves first so we can all see can you all see that?
Yeah.
Kim, did you say
Yeah.
no, Kim?
No, I can see it.
Oh, good, okay. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
now, do you have the pattern, Kim?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. So this would be nice for you then that you can see too. Is that yellow thing in y'all's way, or am I the only one that can see that?
I don't
I
see
don't
anything
see it.
yellow.
Okay, good. It's just in my way then. It's like a control bar. All right, so I'm zooming a little so we can see the sleeves. Is this the one that you're gonna make, Elaine?
I'm doing view 2, I believe.
Okay, so get that in. And yes, I see what you're talking about the arm there. Can you all see my cursor when I move it?
I think
Move
my
it.
frozen.
No? Okay. All right, so you're gonna make the sleeves longer, Elaine, but they look like
Yeah.
they're scalloped, or is that just a ruffle?
Flutter, kind of a
Oh, no,
flutter
excuse
sleeve.
me, not 2. I'm going to do 1. No flutters. In fact, oh, let me see, where did I put it? I actually used the diagram and put different sleeves on it. So I'm either going to go
Oh,
short to me comes above my elbow, then there's elbow, and then there's long. But what they call a cap sleeve, Elaine doesn't do caps. You don't want to see Elaine in caps.
I feel like to the elbow would be stunning. Does anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed. Where are you finding these sleeves in the pattern? Was it an additional PDF when you?
No, I'm taking another class, and the instructor always has us draw in things to see if
Okay.
we would like it or not.
So she's custom designing the dress. Okay, and I want to do view 3. I love those little ties at the top. How about you, Suzette?
I'm just
Okay.
doing the sleeveless, no ties.
So version 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. And then Kim, are you sewing this or are you watching?
no, I'm watching.
Okay, all right. And good morning, Marcia. We can't see you, but we see you. Okay, so now this is just a pattern. I'll just scroll through it real quick for anybody who doesn't have it so that they can see what it looks like if they do decide after they see our gorgeous dresses that they need one. And then we'll move on to the instructions. Oops, sorry. So mine printed out wonderfully on that thick paper from PDF plotting. It doesn't look like it has too many pieces, right?
No, it's a fairly simple dress.
Okay, now let me get the instructions up for us. All right, can you see the instructions now?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so this is about the company and their mission. And then here, so this is the version that I'm gonna sew with the little ties. So it says we need a sewing machine and or a serger, matching thread, paper scissors, ironing board, tailor's chalk, pins and ruler, fabric, and then a 16-inch invisible zipper. And printing guides. So Suzette already has hers printed. Dara already has hers printed. Did you do anything with yours, Elaine? Did you print yet or order?
Well, basically, I think I used a pack of paper to do the whole.
Wow.
Yeah, and after doing that, I kind of thought too, if you're in a hurry, it's much better to have it printed out at a printing shop because, and the other instructor says to use the blue Scotch tape. It's reusable because it's just better for it.
The
But
painting
you have to find a big area to put all this out.
Oh, I bet you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 70 some pages.
Oh my God.
So what did you do for yours, Dara? Did you tape it together?
I use glue stick on mine.
Okay.
I have a really lightweight printer paper and you can see through it. I don't do all the cutting that they suggest. I literally just look through, see the 2 lines, line them up and glue stick them. And I I don't do the whole big thing. I don't have I have a big cutting table, like a 3x6 cutting table, and it's not big enough.
Yeah.
So I look at the little plan they give you of how to lay it out, and you can see that some pieces, like the bodice front and the bodice back, are just 4 sheets. They don't overlap anything else. So I pull them out and tape those together and trace them off.
That's right.
So I literally do it in sections because I don't have anywhere to store this giant thing once it's done.
Yeah.
And it's easier to line it all up rather than trying to line up 9 sheets wide by 6 sheets long.
Mm.
I just concentrate on the individual pieces.
That's really a great tip.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I could see how I knew I'd be totally overwhelmed if I had as many sheets of paper as you do, Elaine. That's,
Well, some of them are just like, there's just a straight with a line on it.
Mhm.
And Daria, I think that is a good idea. Now, when you come to a sheet like that, you want to follow your size, so you're doing the right one.
Mhm.
But I did go on another website, and it had 4 different ways of doing a pattern. And it did say the glue stick method is good. And some of them, they said not even to cut the margins off, but then you have a bulky thing there. Another one just cuts the corners, and I don't quite understand that one. It's hard enough matching lines, much matching cut corners. And I want to wear it this year yet.
So how do you feel about using Dara's technique there and just piecing together the pages for the pieces that you're actually working with at that moment?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. And so when I'm looking, I had mine printed. So when I'm looking at this diagram here, so I'm going to be in the 4 to 16 range. Should I try to lay out my pattern pieces like they are outlined here on my fabric?
Your first try, I would.
I would.
Yes.
That's going to be the most efficient way so that you're not wasting a bunch of fabric. They've already thought it through for you.
Okay. All right. Then that is what I would do. And then we talked about sizing.
Mhm.
And so Dara's tip was to size for the bust first. So can someone explain to us just real quick the difference between the metric and the imperial
I
measurement?
have no idea. I've never seen this before.
So
Well, the metric is European, and you're going to have to take fractions and just go imperial.
Okay. All right.
I'd say that.
they just have it there because people who use the metric system would use their scale, and we would use the imperial. That's, you know, inches, and that's our American system of measure.
Okay. So
And that little square that they give, when you measure it, I believe it was 2 inches. If it's not 2 inches, your printer isn't printing it. You have to change your settings.
was yours okay, Elaine, when you printed?
Yeah,
Was your printer good?
Mine was.
Okay. And then Suzette, did you check your little scale block there?
Yep, mine's good.
Cool. All right. And I didn't have to do that. But let's talk about, you said to fit the bust first. So I would ideally have a bust that was 38 or a dress that fit a 38. So I'm not squeezing into a 37. So should I go then for the 12 instead of the 14? Because like 41 would be really big.
When you're looking at that, on the bottom, that's the finished garment measurements, and that includes the ease. And when you have a woven fabric, you need to have extra or you will not be able to move or breathe.
So maybe
So-
still the 14 then.
Yes, you want to go by the measurements that they gave you in the sizing chart. They've allowed for that already.
Okay, so here's the sizing chart up here. Okay, so my choices are 37 or 39 for the bust. So
Yeah.
I am, the 14 is the right one then, so I'll roll with that.
I'd go with the 14.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then this looks like we're starting the instructions already, stitching the darts. How can this be possible? Okay.
They assume that you already did a bunch of stuff like cut it out and mark everything.
Okay. I didn't want to leave anyone in the dust. You're way ahead of us. But you'll be able to start sewing, right? Okay, let's see. So, do you all want, can you all read this or do you want me to?
Oh, I can read it.
You can read it.
Mine in front of me. All 71 pages.
All right, let's just start with steps 1 and 2 and see if anyone has any questions about that.
So one of the things that often really shows up, especially if you're using darts, they've got a side and a waist dart, is to find out where your breast center is. And we have a saying that says, shift happens. And if you have shifted somewhere where the bust point is higher than yours, you want to figure that out before you start, sewing in darts. So one of the things when I pin fit the pattern itself, well, it's before I've cut out the fabric, is I put an X kind of where I am, and then I see where that is in relationship to the darts, because you want the darts to point to that spot. And if you and it, if the where it's pointing to is not where you are, it's gonna look wonky.
That's the apex, right where I told you the other day.
Sure
The
did.
X.
Okay, so then I would need to know how to adjust my darts.
And if it's just a matter of it's just in the wrong place, you can just redraw them so they point to the apex.
Okay, all right. Are you good on that, Suzette?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, excellent. Thank you so much. I think that was Casey. I didn't have you on my screen though, am I right? All right, thank you so much. Okay, I think I can handle that. Oops, now I'm way too ahead. Okay,
Is that?
so I think I can handle shoulder seams too. Where did they state the seam allowance for this though? 5/8 of an inch? Is
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it's up there in red at the top.
yeah.
my favorite seam allowance, so I can handle that. So
But
I'm
if you make them 1 inch and you have to adjust, you're going to be okay. So I'm going to make mine 1 inch at the shoulder and then adjust if I don't need it.
Are you? Good.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right. When you're pin fitting, Casey,
Mhm.
how do you measure your seam allowance? Do you just use a ruler?
So I usually, when I trace off my pattern, I trace the outline and then I mark the seam allowances at 5/8. I actually have a ruler that's set up to have a little slot in it so I can mark my 5/8, real quickly. So as I trace the pattern off, I'm marking it at the same time. It's like a French curve,
Mhm.
but with a slot in it. But then Elaine's showing another, she has another marking tool.
And
I don't
this
have-
moves.
So she can make it her seam allowances, so she was going to switch from 5/8 on the side
Hmm.
seams to 1 inch at the top. She can just slide that up and remark the seam allowances on the pattern.
But Andrea, you're going to watch on your sewing machine bed where the line is for the 5/8.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Oop, I got blurry.
All right. So I feel like I can handle that. Are you good so far, Suzette? If this week we're sewing steps 1 and 2,
I think so.
let's see how far we can get here. I keep having to move you all around. Your beautiful faces are on top of the instructions for me. Okay, then stay stitching the neckline. I definitely have questions about this.
Mhm.
What am I stay stitching? It's just stitching the one layer of fabric? That's it?
Yep.
And why do we do this? This would be a step I would want to just skip because I don't understand why.
Because if it's on the bias, it will stretch and then your facings won't match up. But you stay stitched inside the 5/8.
So you don't see it?
Right.
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 And sometimes women even take it out, but I leave it in.
And this drawing does not show the direction. So you want to go from your shoulder seam down to the V, and then from the other shoulder seam down to the V. If you don't have the direction, some people will stop at one end and then turn and go up again, and that will actually stretch your fabric. So you want to go from the, more straight on those down to the V, and then in the back, you want to go from the shoulder seams again to the center.
I would totally pivot at the V. Thank you. Because that just seems so logical. All right.
Yesterday, Cheryl mentioned that for a beginner pattern, it assumes that you know a lot of things.
I'm a fast learner and I have great teachers. Okay, I think I could do all of this as well. And if anyone else is uncertain, please do ask questions while we're here together as a group. Okay, the facings. Let's talk about these facings. These are separate pieces, right? That I'm going to be cutting out that will line the bodice.
Yes.
All right. And it looks like they're serged at the bottom. What does the red indicate? Yeah.
I would assume that it's either a serge, or if you don't have a serger, doing the zigzag,
Yeah, that's what it
Whatever.
means.
whatever you use to finish things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
But
seems like,
Andrea, if you're going to use your serger, do a 3-thread, not a 4-thread. Because when you do a 4-thread, sometimes you'll see that seam line.
oh, really?
It's more thread than you need
Okay.
if you do 4 threads.
So I'm just taking out one of the threads on the needle then,
Right.
right? Because I have the 2 needles. Okay. But this view here, this is the view that Suzette and Elaine are doing. Dara, you're doing this view too?
I'm still working on what I'm going to do about sleeves, because I also don't do sleeveless. And I cut out that scallop piece that they have, and it just seemed a little too little girl for me. I'm a long way from wearing a little girl's
Yeah.
ruffled sleeve. So I drafted a tulip sleeve where it's actually 2 pieces and then they overlap, so you can still move your extra fluffy arm.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
That
I'm not
sounds
sure if I
good.
have it drafted well or not.
Oh, that will be very nice. It sounds like you have a little bit of freedom with that though, because you overlap them. Is that true?
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm not doing it as a true sleeve. I'm blending it back in to the bottom of the arm side. So it's still a sleeveless dress in a sense. I can still keep the same facings. I don't have to redraft all that.
Oh.
Very nice. I love that idea. I'm excited for you all to see how that comes together. Okay, so do you think it's too much or unrealistic for me to be able to complete the bodice instructions, say 1 through 6, before next Tuesday?
Do you have a lot of extra time?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm excited for it. That's usually my motivator if I want to sit and do it. Yeah. How much time?
I wanted to make a comment about the dart. If you make your dart and you go to the point and you tie a knot, that's a no-no, because you'll get a little bubble at the end of your apex and it won't look nice. So what I do is I start at the seam, head towards the apex, and then put smaller stitches as you get closer. But hold your fabric so it doesn't sort of kind of want to gather up on you. And it'll be as smooth as can be.
Okay, say that one more time, Elaine.
Yeah,
You're gonna-
start at the seam, start at the side seam. Because see, you're going to be marking this dart with either carbon paper or your pen. And then, oh, here. Okay, this is at an angle. You're going to do your stitching, and then as you get to the point, it's going to go smaller and smaller. And then you'll just cut it off. But you can also leave about a ½ an inch and then thread it back through like you do on a serger. You agree, Casey?
Yes, so I usually sew from the side seam to the end of the dart, decreasing as I get to the tip. And then I will pick up my presser foot, pull a little bit of fabric, and then I go back and in the dart, the waist part of the dart, I will just take 2 or 3 stitches there to kind of tie it off and then to be done.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but it's basically the same thing as you want to have those smaller stitches when you get to the point of the dart because you don't want it opening up.
Oh, yeah.
The smaller stitches should do that for you.
Right.
You just have to be really careful about making it a straight line, not scooping it in either direction, because if you scoop it in any way, it'll end up kind of bubbling on you still.
And what do you mean by scooping it? Just over handling the fabric or?
No, just like if you see like I usually put a pin at the point of the dart, and if I think, oh my gosh, I'm a little off, I will adjust, and instead of sewing straight, I end up with a kind of a little bit of a
Curve
my
or
line
something.
isn't straight, it kind of maybe bends in a little bit so I can hit my point. That's when I've realized I've got too much fabric now on the front side of the dart. So just trying to do as straight a seam as possible and you'll be fine.
And then when you say decreasing the stitch, I have a computerized machine, so I just stop and press the button and decrease the stitch.
Yep.
Gradually.
Like,
Okay.
so
And
I'll
you don't go and then boom.
yeah, I just hit down 1 or 2 numbers, stitch a little bit more, hit it down 1 or 2 more. So I go from like a 2.8 down to a 1.5 stitch length.
Okay, then what stitch length should I be sewing the rest of it with?
I usually do a 2.8. I don't know, ladies, what do y'all do?
Do
Yeah,
mine
about
at
2.8.
2.5.
I do mine. I sew my regular garment sewing at about 3.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They're all about the same.
Okay, all right, Suzette, how do you feel? Do you think you could get the bodice done before next Tuesday?
I can try. What would happen if you didn't put any darts?
You have a lot of fabric in the front.
You have to, yeah. The only alternative to darts with this particular pattern would be to gather or something. That's how you make the shape of the bodice.
And let me go up to the pictures and that will make more sense, I think.
So this facing is like a lining on the top part.
Mm-hmm.
And now is the rest of the dress gonna have lining as well?
No.
Or just
No.
the bodice?
Yeah. The
Just the
facing
neck
isn't
and the arm.
considered a lining, even though it is.
Okay.
So see the waistband there, Suzette?
Mm-hmm.
So that's drawn in. So without the darts, the top would be too big for the waistband.
The gathering would be harder than doing a dart.
Okay.
Yeah. And plus your apex would look weird then.
Didn't mean to scare you on the darts. It just is if you're pay attention and do a straight dart and get it smaller to get to the end, you'll be fine. It really isn't that hard.
It's good to know. So I know you know how to sew a straight line, Suzette.
Oh, I can do that. I'm just,
Yeah.
I didn't understand about when you get to the point. Not
Decreasing
tying it.
stitch, you mean?
Yeah, like not, you just let it go, you don't backstitch or,
No,
No.
no back stitch. So I sew off the end of the dart
oh, okay.
and then I will put my needle back in the wedge of the dart and just take like 1 or 2 stitches just to tie it off and then cut
Okay.
it.
Okay, I
So
understand that.
on my Janome, it has that little nodding feature. You don't use that either then?
Oh.
No. Okay.
No,
No.
No.
No, okay. Very good. All
Or you
right.
could do
not
it and
even-
show it to us.
Never heard of that.
Oh, I don't want you making fun of my apex. All right, let me get it back so I can see your faces. Okay, so I have a lot to do then. I have to wash my fabric. Suzette, you have to find your fabric. Dara's way ahead of us. Kim, you're watching. Elaine, you have to get your pattern tape together.
Yep.
Do you know what kind of fabric you want to use?
Well, being that I don't sew garments, I have a lot of quarters, and I have to find the box that has the yardage. I keep them separate.
Okay. Do you pre-wash before you stow your fabric? Is it already washed for you?
I don't, it doesn't get stored until it is washed, then it goes into storage.
Good for you. That's wonderful. Okay.
if you didn't read it yet, you do need wider fabric. It would be really hard with this skirt to lay
Oh,
it
yeah.
out on a 45-inch width. So you
Uh-huh.
need like a 58 or a 60-inch width fabric.
Well, I have extra yardage, but I don't think it's definitely not wider fabric.
Well, since you got extra yardage, then you'll be fine. You won't be able to follow their diagram, but you'll still have plenty to cut it out.
Okay.
Just make sure you keep them in the same orientation so that they're all going in the same direction.
I'm pretty sure this one is only 44 inches.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
called the nap. It
Yeah.
needs to go one way.
But maybe, because this feels so heavy, maybe it's wider. No, it's not. Okay, well, good thing I got extra then. So remember that too, Suzette, when you're looking for your fabric, you'll need extra. Okay. All right, well, the goal then is going to be to get the fabric prepped, get the pattern traced, and at least have the bodice done before we meet next Tuesday. And I'll have an update when we talk on Friday too.
Oh.
I'll show you where I am with it, and then I'll record all of my steps, and I'll set up a post too on the homepage of the Sewing Club for this project and try and post updates. And then I believe there's a comment function on that page too. So if you get stuck, Suzette, and you want to put comments in there, that will help, because the next time we get to talk is Friday, I think. So I don't want you stranded until Friday if you have a question.
So we're going through step 7. We're finishing 7, correct?
Let me see. Yeah, let's see. 6.
It's sewing the bodice side seams.
If you want to make any kind of alterations, you wouldn't get to that point.
Where would you stop if you need alterations?
6 maybe, because you want to be able to pin the side seams together to make sure things are going where they're supposed to.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's stop at step 6 then.
Before step 6 or after step 6?
I can't tell.
Go through step 6, which is attaching the facing.
But you know, Andrea, for some of us, attaching the facing, it's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's you've got to do a lot of matching and smoothing. And what do you think, Casey?
I don't know that I guess it depends on how comfortable you feel. You might want to get up.
Oh.
I think if you get the darts in, your shoulder seams done, and you pin fit that to yourself before you put the facings on, you can see if things are going the way you want them to. And if they are, then I would proceed to the facing.
Oh,
If they're not, you might want to pause and ask, for some help with folks.
yeah.
And be prepared to, have maybe a camisole on and have your pin fit thing on you so that folks can help you with the.
Now, Suzette's running for the door. She's not coming back.
Well, the thing that's nice about this is that if you get it fit right, you're going to be so excited about sewing. What happens to a lot of people is that they sew something, it doesn't fit, and they think it's the sewing's the problem, and it's the fitting.
Yeah.
So this seems like it's the hardest part. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the skirt and the pockets and all that'll be pretty easy relative to this.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
easy.
not hard.
Okay, maybe we should break the bodice into 2 steps then, just to make sure for the newbies that we're not headed off into the woods by ourselves. Let's stop before the facing then
Probably good.
and check in.
Yeah.
So don't don't attach the facing then. And then you'll know if it fits you, correct? Because you can pin the sides and,
Right.
So stop after number 4 for me because I'm not doing sleeves.
Right, yeah.
and
It's
I
true, 4.
I
Go through
really
4.
want to do the ties. So let me see, where are
Did
the
you-
instructions for the ties?
Elaine, did you say don't do 4?
Yeah, I would go through 4. Because
Through
like you
4.
said, 5 is that cap sleeve and we're not doing that. Yeah,
Okay.
go through 4,
Okay.
I would think.
Well, I got to figure out how to tape this pattern together too.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Painter's tape, Suzette?
Yes.
I think that's probably going to be easier, so you can move it if you need to.
Yeah, and Dora's suggestion of just doing sections will be very helpful.
So yeah, so all you have to focus on is the bodice pieces right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Elaine, I think maybe the reason you have so many pages, you didn't print out all the different sizes, did you?
Well, they're all on one thing anyhow. Whoops. You just follow the line your size of.
Yeah, but it goes from size 0 up to whatever. You didn't print all of those, did you?
'Cause there's 2 sets of them, it sounds like, 0 to,
Yeah, my
Yes.
print out for the pattern is only 46 pages for one size set.
Did
Yeah.
that include, oh, see, I included the instructions too.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I did too, but as far as just the pattern, there were different ones for the different sizes, different groups of sizes.
yeah.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna follow the 16 and then you follow the line you're on.
Right.
Because this way it's a multi-pattern.
Yeah,
So I'm just working with this page then, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can handle it.
Andrea, how long did it take you to get your pattern once you ordered it?
I had it in 2 days. And if you order before 12 o'clock, he'll ship the same day. I ordered after, late afternoon, and I had it still in 2 days. Yeah, I love this company. So
how wide is that paper?
I think they call it A0 paper. Do you want me to
Yes.
see a measure? it
Yeah,
for you?
but, yeah,
You want to know the width of it?
mm-hmm.
So on the 24-inch mat, it's about 37 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wondered because my husband has a printer that can print 24 inches.
Oh, that would
No.
be so nice for you.
Yeah, but
Because
it's too wide though.
I know, but, well, yeah. I don't know how you'd manipulate the pattern to get the pieces that you wanted on there.
That's all right. I can figure this out.
And now we've got it down to just 4 pieces. That's all you have to worry about between now and Tuesday is 4 pieces. All right. And
Okay.
are you going to go ahead and do your facing and sleeves, Dara, since you're so much ahead?
Yeah. I'm gonna put together the bodice and then decide whether the sleeves I already drafted are gonna work.
Okay.
I
Oh,
think I'll cut them out of something else because I just have enough fabric to make the dress. So I'll probably cut them out of, I have a lot of junk fabric.
Okay.
So
mhm.
I'll try the tulip sleeves and see how it looks before I commit to that.
All right. If you are available Friday, are you on the East Coast?
Yes.
Friday at 5 o'clock on the East Coast, we have show and tell. If you want to show your tulip sleeve, if you're available, but if not, we'll have to wait till Tuesday to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll bring whatever I have on Friday and show as well my progress. Okay. And can you make it, Suzette?
Yes. Unless something comes up with my mom, I should be here.
Okay. I understand.
Still waiting on her surgery stuff.
Dave,
So, yeah.
you have to do it. You have to do it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, ladies. And I hope you have fun too, Marcia. Okay. You all have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see some of you on Friday and everybody else next Tuesday.
Oh.
Thanks for letting
Okay.
me lurk.
Thank you.